Things lately took a turn probably a couple months ago. We started having people complaining of hair being pulled, being touched inappropriately.
They're getting attacked. Scratching, touching, hair pulling, pushing. These are things that they're not common, but they keep happening at random times to random people. Whatever's here, if it doesn't like what's going on, it'll change it. They said that something scared them enough to where they left, and they have not been back since.
One thing in particular that I can tell you, that I'm hesitant to tell you, I witnessed someone who seemed to be possessed in the house.
Did you possess a guy that was in this house?
He got up this close to my face and told me we are 7.
He was claiming to be 7 different people at once.
I look up and he's hanging.
And we've heard screaming. It is definitely in the house.
I walked up to the steps and I was looking inside the glass storm door. And when I first looked, I could see all the way in the kitchen area up to where the 2 doors were in the kitchen. I looked away and I was talking to a couple of people that were with me. I turned back around, looked, and put my hands up to the window to look inside. It was completely dark, and I saw a figure of a face looking back at me.
So we're going to start here on the main level and just work our way through the first floor and then head up to the second floor. If there's anybody in the house with us, could you please give us a sign? It's like eerily quiet.
Yeah.
Earlier today when we were doing interviews, we heard a female voice.
What sounds like a couple of football players running up and down the stairs and all through the floors upstairs and downstairs.
Did you hear that? Was it female?
I think it was, yeah. And if I had to
Sounded
guess,
like
I'd say it was
female,
behind you.
Like twice go.
Yeah.
I had a cold breeze come down on my hand.
If there's anybody in the house besides me and Rocky, could you please tell me your name? If there's anybody in the house besides me and Rocky, could you please tell me your name?
Most activity comes from this room, the front living room. We hear things that are upstairs, but not a lot of stuff happens up there. Usually in this room or the front bedroom to the house. That's where the voice came from when we were in this room. The real-time voice that we heard, all of us heard together, was like the first time we ever heard that. So we started dropping recorders and listening on an audio line outside. As soon as we exit the house, it seemed like whatever was inside the house wanted to start moving. We'd get heavy footsteps, things that sound like metal dragging, metal closing. We've heard rustling, like things moving. We've heard what sounds like balls rolling across the floor. Everything was all about movement.
Is there cobwebs here?
No.
Something just brushed right up against my arm right here.
You don't see any cobwebs.
I haven't been in there all day.
Yeah, it was like something like cobweb filling. Did you just brush up against my arm? So this window right here, I don't know if you can see it, all the bird marks, but for some reason they keep having birds fly into this window. And out of all the windows in the whole house, this is the only one that they fly into. I don't know if that's anything paranormal or just a weird coincidence, but
Things lately took a turn probably a couple months ago. More activity started. We started having, it started out with a spirit box session with a lot of vulgar stuff coming through it. Very specific stuff, sexual in nature. Shortly after that, we started having people complaining of hair being pulled, being touched inappropriately, scratching. We've heard spirit box sessions again using the foul language.
are you the aggressive spirit in this house scaring people? Make yourself known right now. It's just me and Rocky in here with you right now. Did you hear that? Huh?
I didn't hear anything. What are you hearing?
I just seen a flash of light. Straight in this room.
From what he remembered, he was sitting in the piano room, and it was all the lights were out. It was very dark, and he was sitting on the piano bench. And he said he looked over into the corner of the room, and there was a flicker, like just a barely little flash of light. And he said from that point on, he knew something was wrong, but had no idea that it was him. He couldn't tell us anything that he was doing. He couldn't recall anything that he had done or said. He had no memory of anything other than being in the piano room, looking off into the corner and seeing that flicker of light.
I got cold chills right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
Are you in this room with us? I can feel you. Give us a sign. Yeah, like right here. There was like a flash of light.
One thing in particular that I can tell you, that I'm hesitant to tell you, is that I have witnessed someone who seemed to be possessed in the house.
What I found strange during the interview, when Duncan starts talking about the possession, you can clearly hear the birds outside going absolutely crazy.
I was here with a group of mine, just a couple friends, and he started acting funny. He walked upstairs by himself without a flashlight, which I thought was odd. I thought he was just messing with me. So I'm starting to yell for him, hey, you gotta come back down here, man. You can't be up there. I look up and he's hanging upside down from the stairs over there with one arm out reaching at me. Still, I was like, what are you doing? Why are you acting like that? And then he started making weird noises, breathing heavy. So I went up to check on him. I couldn't see him anymore at this point. I went upstairs, looked over the loft area. He was over in the corner. He was in a fetal position, breathing very heavy. Chest was moving, just making some weird sounds. So I came back down and I started getting other people. I'm like, hey, something's going on. I don't know what's going on with him. And so I got everybody in here. Then he wants to come down the steps, and he wants to just stay at the top of the steps, only so you could see his feet. He wasn't doing anything. And he kept saying stuff, kept, talking about, I bet you're scared, and, you thought you got rid of me, and stuff like that. And then he charged me, come down the stairs and charged me, and I ran the other way and went into the kitchen area.
Did you hear a scream?
At the beginning, when we walked over here.
Right there. There's something in here. Feeling cold and creepy it is in here.
Yeah.
If you're in this room, knock on something. They say that you touch people. Can you touch Rocky?
Like there's a cold breeze.
The minute you walk in here, you get a cold chill.
It just blew up against my arm.
So it's gone now.
It's like, yeah, I just felt like something was blowing up on my arm.
Are you trying to touch Rocky?
Hear him walking.
Yeah.
Did you hear it? It's walking real heavy upstairs before you moved.
It's running. It's running. It's running.
I believe that what is here and what we hear the footsteps is the man, because the footsteps were very heavy. The woman's voice obviously coming through was a good one for us. We think that maybe because it was so quiet in nature before, and then all of a sudden became something different, that maybe something else occurred, maybe on a different investigation that someone brought with them.
Hey, you hear it upstairs?
Yeah.
Who's upstairs? Holy crap.
Something just went right behind you.
Yeah, I had goosebumps.
Turn around and face out that door.
Shh. It's here with us. It's right behind me.
Turn around and face out the door. The shadow just went right on that wall and out that door. However you feel it necessary to communicate with us, you can do that. If you can bang on something, that would help validate that you're in here with us right now.
Just knocked on something.
It's weird because you walk into a room and you get cold chills and it feels real creepy. And then all of a sudden it feels fine. You know?
Let's fire up the ghost box.
Well, hold on a second. We'll work our way through the house first. But those footsteps were coming from upstairs. You want to go upstairs?
Yeah.
We had experience with a guy who got possessed. He was acting extremely odd for him. Nothing he did made sense. He was upstairs making crash noises, sound like he was coming through the ceiling. And what struck me odd was that those are all sounds that we'd heard before. He was never here to hear. And they were an exact mimic of those noises. And there's no way he could have made those noises without ever hearing it before. His mannerisms changed, the way he would talk, act, move. He was claiming to be 7 different people at once. We tried to get him out of the house, and he was overpowering everyone with one arm. And he's not a big physical guy, but he made sure that no one was able to take him outside. Once he finally went outside on his own, we thought it was all done and over with. He started to act a little normal. Then we started to notice things like he wasn't wearing his glasses, and he can't see without his glasses. We couldn't find his glasses anywhere. And then he started talking more and more about how he was still in the house. And we came back in. We could hear him on the spirit box, hear him coming through the recorder. We heard him several different times asking for help. It was a little terrifying because we weren't sure what exactly was going on. We just knew that it wasn't him. He has not come back since. We've asked him to come back, but he has not agreed to it yet.
How fitting.
Right?
Thunder roll
It just
now.
kind of rolls right through there.
I think the footsteps we were hearing, so if you can see these, the whole house got wood floors. I think one room is carpet. But we could hear what sounded like footsteps. Are you up here? Can you walk around now? You're walking. This is the area that the guy got possessed. Paul, did you possess a guy that was in this house?
There have been other people that have investigated here that picked up on the names Paul and I think James at one point, and those all came through PSB 7 sessions.
Paul, can you hear me? Now the walk-in's downstairs.
And all the way up
Yeah.
on the right channel.
Yeah. Paul, if you're in this house, please let us know.
It's a yellow brown.
Okay, shh. Watch that curtain. Do you see his shadows going back and forth that curtain? Whoever's up here, show yourself. We know who you are and what you did. I mean, something was clearly walking up here. Why did you possess a guy?
The house just erupts and it goes absolutely crazy. Metal on metal grinding sounds being dragged across the floor. There's nothing metal in here to make that sound. The only thing that would be close would be the piano, and I don't think it's going to make that sound. And we have never been able to debunk it as far as we've slid around tables, chairs, we've opened doors, moved windows, we've done everything we could to try to match those sounds, and we've never been able to do it.
So I feel like something's gonna happen. We just gotta wait.
I think it went downstairs.
You wanna go down there? It's like we keep chasing it.
I mean, you could hear it like it was walking down the steps.
Well, shit. Let's block the steps so it can't come back up here.
This house is unpredictable, but those type things with him mimicking everything that I have heard and have on recorder, and it literally mimicked the exact sound of how it was done, but nothing was moved out of place. Glass breaking, mirrors, what sound like a heavy mirror shattering, which there is 2 upstairs. Nothing's out of place, nothing's broken, nothing's wrong, but to hear everything sound like it's being torn apart, he's never heard it before. He wouldn't know how to make those sounds. So that stands out to me, that there is something here, whether it be a residual or an intelligent haunt. There is something here that knows what it's doing.
If it wants to go back upstairs, it's gonna have to go through us. You hear that? If you want to go back upstairs, you gotta come through us. You feel that breeze? Did you hear that bang?
I told you it's over here behind me.
My hair's standing up. Look at electricity.
I'm getting freaking cold. Did you hear that?
Right behind you.
Yeah. There it is. It's back upstairs.
Well, I'm not moving from these stairs. You want to go back upstairs? Who is the old man in the house? You're not allowed going back upstairs. You got to stay down here with us. You got the ghost box on you.
Yeah.
We got a device here. If you want to speak now, we can hear you.
Why don't you want to speak to it?
Paul, can you hear me?
We want to speak with Paul.
The old man in the house. Talk to us. They say you like to touch women. Is that true? Why do you like to touch women? Are there any women in this house? What is the name of the guy that you possessed? Say Mike. Mike or die. Can you say that again? Tell me the name of the guy that you possessed. There's a weird voice coming through and answering. You can make it out. It's like a real raspy, low voice, like an old man. Who is the old man coming through?
Tried to get him to come outside. I grabbed him by the shirt, tried to pull him outside, and I couldn't pull him outside. He had strength that I hadn't ever experienced before, and I've known him for quite some time. So I grabbed him by his left arm, his weakest arm, and I tried to armbar him and take him outside. Without even breathing heavy, he was just standing there with one arm holding me and pulling me across the kitchen. My feet were sliding. I couldn't pull him outside. Couldn't get him. We tussled a little bit, came into this front room here behind me, and I let go of him, and then all of a sudden he just collapsed. He went down to the ground, started acting funny again. He started asking me where his glasses were, because he wasn't wearing his glasses that he has to wear to see. He was saying other things I don't remember exactly now, but because it was a very heated moment for me. And he got up and wanted to just go outside. So I looked at that as a good sign. So we took him outside, got him some air. He wouldn't go more than 5 feet away from the house. He walked out to the front porch. I walked with him to make sure I stayed with him just in case there was something wrong. And he started talking funny again, talking about, I'm not going to let your friend go. He's still stuck in the house. At that time, someone came outside and told me that they just heard my friend's voice through the PSB7 saying, help me. Heard his voice, knew it was him. They've known him for years. So I look at him and he goes, see, I told you. I mean, just without missing a beat. And he looks at me and I said, well, who are you? And he walks up to me and he got up this close to my face and told me, we are 7. Like I've heard that in a movie somewhere. He goes, yeah, but you're scared. And I said, I'm not scared. He goes, yeah, you are. And he just looked at me so, I mean, just blank stare. He walked off the front porch, he walked inside the house, continued on saying some things, walked out here by the piano, and then I turned around to say something to my friend, and he just fell forward and collapsed on the floor.
So you honestly believe that he was possessed, or?
I can never be for sure about that, and I don't ever want to say that I believe it, because I don't know. I don't know. I can tell you this much for sure. His strength was not him. That's not who he is. And, you know, without getting into detail, I know what I'm doing to get someone to move. And he was pulling me across the floor. And, you know, I mean, my feet were planted. I was sliding. 2 hands on his one left arm, weak side. I can't explain that. When I went upstairs to the loft to look at how he could be hanging upside down with both arms out, I'm not real sure how he could have been doing that. Those 2 things had me stumped. And then when they said they could hear his voice through the PSB7, again, I was a little bit confused about that. Especially since he had just said right before it, you know, I'm not going to let your friend go. He's still inside the house. And then they come running out saying that to me. You know, that was significant.
Hello?
Hi, did someone just call?
Yes, this is Josh with Living Dead Paranormal.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Not too bad.
I guess if we could just go back to that night, what you remember was happening beforehand.
What I remember, we were all standing, I was standing by the piano by the main bedroom there on the first floor. Standing there, and Duncan was standing kind of in front of me, and Scott was over against the wall sitting down. And I remember them standing there, and next thing I know, I just blacked out. It was like everybody just left. Like I closed my eyes and opened them, and I was standing there by myself. And I'm looking around, calling, I'm yelling, where'd you guys go? Is there anybody here? What happened? I heard a lot of noise coming from the upstairs. I didn't actually talk to anybody while I was in that state, but they said that as I was in that state that my voice had changed and that I was extra strong. I guess I pulled Duncan across the floor just trying to get me outside. I pulled him across the floor. They just couldn't get me outside. And then we wrestled. I ended up falling. And I guess I thought it was over at that point. But they got me outside finally. And it's all... He said they took me on the porch and said that whatever it was said that I was gone, that I wasn't coming back. I remember he said they got me back into the house, and I remember waking up, I was on the floor when I woke up. And I had no clue what was going on whatsoever. I thought I just passed out or something. But on the recording that I have, you can hear I'm upstairs, and you can hear Duncan tell me to come downstairs and sit by the piano on the bench. And through the spirit box, they had it hooked up to a beats box. And through that, you can hear a piano key, clear as day, come through when they said that. And then I start laughing upstairs, which is not my laugh whatsoever. It's pretty intense.
So basically, from the minute you remember blacking out until the minute you remember waking up, you don't really have any memory besides what everybody else is saying and what was, of course, on the voice recorder.
No, I don't. When I listened to that, the hair stood up on my arms when I heard all that. Because, it doesn't sound like me whatsoever. And then the laugh's what got me, because it's definitely not my laugh. It's a real deep laugh. It was something dark for sure. I don't understand what it could be. I don't think it ever told a name of who he was or anything like that to them. I know he got inside Duncan's head and told him his name was Paul or something like that. But other than that, they never gave him a real name of actually who it was. It was, like I said, I was sitting there and I was looking at all of them, and then it just turned, like I blinked my eyes and opened them and it just turned dark. I was standing there by myself, like everybody just disappeared, in the blink of an eye, literally. And I was yelling for them. You could hear me. They go back into the house when I'm standing outside, and you could hear them. They say that I'm coming through the spirit box or something like that. You can hear me yelling for help or something like that. But yeah, it's all on the recording that I can let you hear that.
Okay. Has that affected you since then, or once you woke up, everything's been fine?
Well, I've had some pretty intense dreams about the place. I haven't been out to do anything since then because it kind of freaked me out really bad. But I've had some pretty intense dreams about being in the house. And once again, it's just me in the house by myself walking around, and I can hear stuff moving around in the house, but I never actually see anything. Banging on the wall, stomping on the floors, feeling like I'm being followed. But other than that, it's just basically in my dreams. There's nothing when I'm awake that actually happens. I'm really confused at why it would. First of all, how it did it and why it would do it. Yeah, I wish I had more information about when it did take me over. But like I said, I was in the house. It was completely dark, and all I heard was like walk around upstairs, back and forth. Didn't hear any responses from anybody. And then basically, it was like I blinked my eyes again, and I was laying on the floor. Duncan standing over me, asking if I was okay. And I said, "Well, what happened? What's going on? Why am I on the floor?" And he said, "Well, we're still trying to figure that out." Yeah, it's something I hope never happens again. It's one of those things that freaks you out to where you want to take a break for a little bit to kind of gather your thoughts and figure out why what happened. Like I said, every day that goes on, there's more and more that just goes away that I can't remember. It's like my brain's trying to block it out. Like blinking my eyes and opening them, and I was there alone. And just heard the noises upstairs.
I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. And then if you want to just send over those recordings, I'd appreciate that. And then.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
But hear we now?
I can hear you.
I can. I can. Not kidding you.
Oh, don't move. Just talking to it.
No, I just seen a shadow. Who's the dark shadow I keep seeing?
We'll get overflow.
Tell me your name right now. Tell me your name right now. Why are you still in this house?
If you're in the other room, can you come in here with us?
You hear that, Josh?
Rocky.
You hear that, Josh?
Rocky.
Who's upstairs with us?
That went off. That went off. That went off.
Huh?
That went off.
Are you over by the desk? You behind us? Did you try to take over somebody's body?
The fuck was that?
Huh?
The fuck was that?
I don't know. Why did you try to take over his body?
Sit in the room where he got possessed.
Where's that?
Right here.
Well, what's the difference between this room and that room?
I don't know.
It keeps calling my name in here.
Okay. After we spent quite a bit of time in the house investigating, Rocky and myself decided to split up and go in one at a time. And this way, hopefully the spirits would feel more comfortable to communicate with us.
Hi. What's your name? I want to speak to the female and that's it. I don't want to speak to nobody else. Something just like started rubbing the floor right by my foot. James. James, are you here in here with me? Alright, right now there's like crazy walking going on right in front of me. Who's in front of me? Is Paul here? Josh. Josh. Josh.
I'm in here by myself now. Rocky said he heard somebody playing the piano. Was that you? Touch a key. Holy shit. Holy shit. James, it's just you and me in here right now. Can you see me? Is there a woman inside this house? Whoever's in this house, I command you to show yourself right now. Do you not like having us in this house? I'll tell you one thing, you come in here by yourself, it's creepier than shit. Are you upstairs right now? It's weird because you keep hearing footsteps. I keep hearing footsteps. Why do you keep walking around the house? I hear you upstairs. Okay. I'm gonna head upstairs. I keep hearing footsteps up there. I'm up here now. Can you walk? So this right here is the area that supposedly the guy was possessed, hanging off that ledge. I'll tell you one thing, it is creepier than shit up here. If you're up here with me, please give me a sign. Thank you. Do you want me to leave this house? I get more footsteps. Okay, I'm going downstairs. I'm gonna leave you alone. You want to say bye?
So, do you like music? Sound like Josh just came through the voice box. That is creepy. And before that, sound like the piano.